Hey, if you've been going down a rabbit hole searching for Irish soda bread recipes, you may come across my Irish American soda bread. Well, here I'm going to show you the more traditional soda bread that you would find in Ireland, except it's just got a little St. Patrick's Day twist to it. First, we're going to preheat our oven to 375 degrees. Then we're going to use a cast iron skillet. This is an 8-inch skillet. This is the more traditional way to do it. It gives a nice crust to the bottom of the loaf. And what I do is just take a little butter and I rub it around the edges and the sides like that. And for the center, I use a piece of parchment. I just cut out a circle in the parchment and put that in the middle like that. It makes it a little easier to get out of the pan and won't stick to it. So of course, we always include the complete recipe and a list of all the ingredients in the description of all our videos. So we're going to start by adding our all-purpose flour to our mixing bowl. We're using the paddle attachment here on low speed. Then we'll add our sugar and baking powder. Now, baking powder is not traditional in soda bread, of course, that's why it's called soda bread, but its rising properties come from baking soda. And baking powder acts a little differently and gives us a fluffier end product. So we're going to use both. In order for the baking soda to activate, it needs an acid, in this case, buttermilk. For a festive St. Patrick's Day vibe, I got a hold of some candied green cherries. Now, I know this is not traditional. You can leave them out if you want, but hey, you're drinking green beer. In a separate bowl, slightly whip up 1 egg and the buttermilk along with the melted butter. Now make sure your butter is not too hot. You don't want it to cook the egg. I usually melt it a few minutes ahead of time and let it sit for a bit. Now we're going to add this to our flour mixture and let it mix well. And it should only take like a minute. And now note that it's very sticky and it's sticking to the bowl, and that's the way that you want it. If you've ever made biscuits, it's very similar. Now we're going to flour our countertop and turn out the dough. We want to work it just enough to give it a uniform shape. Resist the temptation to knead it. If you overwork the dough, you'll end up with a really dense loaf of bread. You just want to work it to try to get a smooth surface so you get a nice consistent loaf in the pan. Now place the loaf in your pan and press it down just enough so that it touches the sides of the pan. If you're doing this on a sheet pan, you don't need to press it down very much. Then you're going to take a sharp knife and cut a big X on top of the loaf. This is going to allow the dough to rise up to the top rather than splitting out the sides. Then you can dust it with a little flour if you like, and it goes in your oven. You're going to bake it for about 25 to 30 minutes. Now you want to check that it's done by using a toothpick or a bamboo skewer and make sure that it comes out clean.